Hey guys, this is Leigh with Steel Raven Farms. I already did a whole piece on the Real Homestead and then turned around and the dogs started playing and I lost it. So now I have to do it all over again, which is fine. That's fine. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the Real Homestead, right? Because we've all seen it. We've gone on Instagram, gone on Facebook, and all these other places, and you see this perfect chicken coop, and you see this perfect, goat barn, and you see the perfect garden, you see the perfect this, you see the perfect that, and if that's what you need to feel successful in your endeavors, by all means, do what you got to do. Okay. But one of the things that I also want you to really understand is that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. What you just heard, that big thunk, was the dog laying down. Okay. And I'm going to do another podcast talking about the videos or the dogs, because I know y'all want to know about these beasts. Everybody loves dogs. If you don't love dogs, I'm not sure that we can be friends. Not gonna lie. Just like if you tell me that you don't love goats, I don't know that we can be friends. They're literally the best farm animal there is. So, anyways, when it comes to a real homestead, I want you to think about some things. Okay. Influencers and content creators have to make it look good. How else are you going to click on it? Right? We've got to have, and I'm a content creator, right? So I have to have click-worthy blurbs, click-worthy photos, click-worthy whatevers, just to get you guys to click, right? Because in this day and age, and I'm the same way, if the title or the picture doesn't look interesting, I'm not watching it. I'm not reading it. I'm not looking at it. I'm not doing it. There's something else that'll grab my attention, right? It's something else that's going to give me that dopamine rush. And that's fine. I mean, it's probably not. Like, the reality is that it's probably not good, but it is what it is. And I'm not going to sit here and have that particular discussion. But people, content creators, influencers, the way that we earn an income is on your clicks. Okay? So, for example, if you have a friend who is working on, a blog or an Instagram, channel, reel thing, whatever, and you see that they're recommending something, do me a solid. Click the link. And you don't, so for example, if you're on my blog and you see that I am, I've got an Amazon link, right? Go ahead and click on it. And if you're ready to buy the stuff in your Amazon cart, go ahead and make that purchase. You don't have to buy the thing that I'm buying or that I'm recommending to you, right? But when you make that purchase, we make a commission, right? It doesn't have to be on the item that we're recommending, but we still get credit for it, right? That was an offshoot of what what I'm supposed to be talking about, which is, again, the story of my life. But my point is that the way that we make money and when we create an income is, one of a couple ways. One, it's ads on our website, right? That's one of the ways that we make money. The more people that come to our website and see the ads, the more money we make. The more people that click on those ads, the more money we make. The more people that purchase things that we recommend, the more money we make, right? And then, products, That's how we make money. So I totally and completely understand that homestead influencers and homestead content creators have to make it look good, because nobody wants to see a pile of trash on their Instagram page. Okay, I get it. Nobody wants to see, fly tape in the kitchen. I get it. But I need the new homesteader that doesn't have a clue what real homesteading looks like to understand that when you are going to put a feed or a bowl of scraps, of food scraps on your kitchen counter in the middle of summer, you will get flies. It's great and wonderful and beautiful that you're going to feed your chickens kitchen scraps. I think it's great. That's pretty much the only thing that my chickens eat. Like we give them a little bit of grain, especially in the winter. But they live almost completely off of grass and bugs in the yard come summer. We want them to, be their natural self as much as possible. And in the wintertime, it's just too damn cold and there's not any freaking grass and there's not a lot of bugs. So we feed, we help supplement them through the winter. But the reality is that when we have a bucket of food on the counter or in the kitchen, we have flies. There's no way around that. It's the reality. And if you think that your kitchen isn't going to have flies, you've lost your mind. You're going to have fly strips up. We use, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes, but we use those light sticky traps, that you plug into the wall. We use those and we've had great success with those. The only downside is that Blue thinks that she can eat them because she's she's part German Shepherd, if that tells anybody anything. So we I get frustrated when I see, I've had a lot of, new homesteaders or, people who are looking to get into this life and they're like, well, I can't get chickens yet because I can't afford the coop. And I'm like, I mean, okay, that's very smart. I appreciate you not doing that. But what do you mean when you say you can't afford the coop? Because we'll start talking and, this is obviously a much more condensed version. And they're like, well, I don't really have the time to build it. I don't have the knowledge to build it, which are both, absolutely understandable. And I don't have the money to buy one. Okay, yeah, that's fair. But what are you looking at? Like, what's your DIY plan? What's your, whatever? Because we may be able to help you, right? We've got stuff. We can build stuff. I think Jared can build stuff. And they show me what they're wanting, and it's a freaking shed. Like, it's a whole ass building. And I'm like, what do you? This is what you want? And they said, oh no, this is what I need. No, it's not. It was not. Nope, not even a little bit. Let me explain to you something. Our first chicken coop it's still here and it works great. Is a like 4x4 box with 2 doors on it, and that's it. It's got like 3 nesting boxes in there, and they don't use it. They don't use it even in the wintertime. They don't use it. We have another piece. We've got another coop that the previous owners left, and we used that for a minute, and that was okay. And then we stopped using that. And then because Jared wanted the chickens to free range, which P.S. that has stopped, we pretty much just let them have free run of the property, and they roost everywhere. Everywhere. They roost on the back deck. They roost on the front deck. They roosted on my dehydrator until I stopped that. They roosted wherever they wanted. And so that when I tell you, so chickens, when they sleep, they poop. when they roost, they poop. And so if you don't want something covered in chicken shit, you should maybe not let them roost there. We found that out the hard way. But back to the point, this couple that I was talking to said, if it's gotta be nice. I mean, okay, I can understand the want for it to be nice, but you do know what they're going to do to it, right? Like, they're going to destroy it. Like, you can buy one that will last you a good long time, but the reality is that anything you put in there will be destroyed. Are you planning on having a run? And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, how many chickens are you looking at getting? Well, like 10. Okay, that's a great number for, a family, like a family of 4 or whatever. It's a good size, good amount of chickens. And I'm like, okay. And I said, are you going to get a rooster? And they were like, and I was like, don't get a rooster. Don't. If you have no desire to hatch your own eggs, don't get a rooster. You don't need him. You don't want them. You see them all the time on, the different buy, sell, trade pages where they're like, I've got roosters free to a good home. Just take them. Listen, if I take your roosters, they're going in the freezer. That's just the reality of it. Now, I do have roosters. I think I've got 2 or 3 roosters, and then I've got 2 drakes. I've got ducks. But the reality at the end of the day is that, they're going to get out. They're going to shit everywhere. They're going to shit in the nesting boxes. And you are going to have to clean that up. Right? And if you are super anal retentive about, every single thing needs to be clean, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And if you think that, your homestead must have the perfect garden, and it must have the perfect chickens, and it must have the perfect this, and you are going to drive yourself crazy. Okay? Let me explain something. When we got Spike, Jade, and Sapphire, we got them home. I think it was like 12 hours later or something like that. One of my nephews came in and he's like, "Hey, I think your goats there's something wrong with your goats." I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "They're frothing at the mouth." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So I go outside. Look, sure shit, they're sick. Oh, the other one's sick too. Damn it, all 3 of them are sick. So we set up the dog crates in the living room, and we put straw at the bottom to help with urine and poop, because they're gonna poop and pee in the house. They're goats. Sorry. And bring them in the house. They're vomiting, and when goats vomit, they shake their head. There's friggin' goat puke on the walls, on the couch. There's pee on the floor. There's poop on the floor. It's everywhere. And sorry guys, I'm trying not to get sick, but I think I might have already gotten there. So anyways, so there's 3 goats in my house. One is huge. He still is huge, but at the time he was, the biggest goat that we had. And then we had the 2 babies that we had just bought. And it was insane. Okay, like, we're sitting there trying to get them through this. We're trying to give them medicine. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do that. That was the day that we found out that mountain laurel is toxic to goats, like severely toxic to goats. And we ended up starting to wage war on the mountain laurel on the property, and we're working on it. It comes back. It's the worst. Everyone thinks it is so pretty, and I'm sitting there going, it is evil. It needs to go. That is the only time that I have ever considered using chemicals on my property to kill shit. Everything else, like, we just pull it out of the ground. That was and look, I'm still tempted, to put poison on it, but Jared said no, and I gotta honor that because, but like, the point of the goat story was, it was about 8 months later. We're, painting the living room, so the entire house has wood paneling. And so we have been slowly but surely working our way through the house, caulking all the holes, all the cracks, because drywalling, because we used the drywall mud. We're slowly but surely going through part by part, piece by piece, room by room, painting all the trim white, and then, slowly going through and mudding the cracks and doing all the things. So we'd started on the living room last October, and Chase was scraping the ceiling because it's that beautiful 90s popcorn ceiling. And so he's starting to scrape the ceiling, and he's like, Mom, what's this? And I'm like, I don't know what. And I look up, and I'm like, what is that? And I couldn't figure it out for the longest time until one of the babies got into mouth roll, and we had to bring her in the house, and she started puking. And I was like, it's goat vomit. For 8 months, there was goat vomit on the ceiling. Tells you how often I clean my ceiling, right? But that's my point. Is like, I can sit here and spend hours and hours and hours every single day trying to keep up with the property. Or I can spend those hours working in my garden, spending time with my kids. As long as the house is clean and safe, and the yard is clean and safer-ish. I use the term safer-ish because I have a dog that likes to dig holes everywhere, Blue. And I have chickens that escape, and so they shit everywhere. And I have goats. And then the pigs. That was a whole debacle. And so the reality is that I can sit here and I can spend all of this time and energy and money and, bandwidth trying to keep up and never get anything done because I'm too busy trying to keep everything clean. Or I can say it's a farm and just move on with my life and realize that it's okay to have string on the cattle panel because you're probably going to use it next year. It's okay to only clean out the chicken coop once a week, once a month, once a whatever it is, that's okay. It's okay that the goats, we just open up a new bag of bedding and dump it on the ground, and we clean it out every quarter, unless it's winter, and then we don't clean it out until the following spring, That's okay. Like, it's not a problem. Because at the end of the day, if I was to sit there and go out and clean the goat barn every single day or every other day, I would be exhausted. And that is just not worth it, right? And so I'm sitting here looking at, I'm looking at inside my house, and, there's dust bunnies in the corner, and there's cobwebs on the ceiling, and okay, what's the problem? Like, really, what's the problem? Why is it a big deal? My sink is clean for the most part. It depends on who's doing the dishes that month. The laundry's done. We got clean clothes. We got clean dishes. We got clean, whatever's, and that's fine. I do not need to have an insta-worthy house. I don't want an insta-worthy house because I know that the amount of effort that goes into maintaining that is insane. And like, again, I understand as a content creator and as an influencer that that's how they make their money. I get it. I've watched the reels and I've been jealous. So jealous. But I also know that the reality is that they probably cleaned up right before that video started. And that's okay. That's okay. But again, my issue and my beef comes in where you have brand new homesteaders that are looking at those videos, or you have people who are, waiting to buy property, or they're waiting, they're getting ready to buy property, or they're getting ready, or whatever. They're not there yet, and so they're consuming all of this knowledge and information about homesteading from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and all they're seeing is the perfect homestead. with the perfect garden beds and the perfect chicken coop and the perfect goat barn and the perfect this and the perfect that. And I am here to tell you that is not the case. It's not the case. The reality is that, or excuse me, the more likely scenario is that that person cleaned everything up to shoot that video or take that picture, and that on any given Tuesday, that person's garden is a disaster, especially during planting season. Oh God. Like I'm looking out at my garden right now, my kitchen garden, because I can't see my big garden. I'm looking out at my kitchen garden and saying, I really need to get out there and clean it, because the pigs, all of my cushions on my chairs are covered in mud. And all of my, I've got a glove just hanging out. I've got my shears that have stayed out in the rain for like 3 days. I've got pots and, containers, and I've got all sorts of stuff that needs to get cleaned up. And I'm just not here for it right now. I'm just not interested in doing it. I'll get to it, and then I will clean it up eventually. But today is not that day, and tomorrow's not looking good either. Mainly because tomorrow's Thanksgiving. But I encourage the new homesteader, especially the one that has the property and is trying to figure out how to do it, is trying to figure out how in the world I'm going to keep all this clean. You're not. So I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, the whole point to this podcast is to encourage you and for you to realize that it's okay if you don't have your shit together. Okay? Because if your idea of a successful homestead is one where it's clean, you may need to relook at your priorities. If your idea of a successful homestead looks more like Instagram, you may want to reconsider what you're doing. Okay? And I don't mean that as a slam. And again, this is a judgment-free zone. But I do need you to understand that you will not have a perfectly clean chicken coop, goat barn, garden, whatever, and have your sanity. Okay? You're not. You will not be able to have content creation and a working homestead and a clean house. Okay? It's not gonna happen. Ask me how I know. Now, to be fair, I'm not one of those people, and I have never been one of those people that my house is sterile all the time. Okay? I've never been that person. I have 2 boys. I have huge dogs. I've always had huge dogs. And my priority has never been, a clean, like when I say clean, I mean sterile house where every single day the house, is clean from top to bottom. I don't do that. I have other things that are way more important to me, like my sanity. And so if that is your priority, more power to you, okay? If you have a system in place that you can clean your house from top to bottom in 2 hours and be done, great. I don't. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little jealous. But not jealous enough to figure out how you do it, because it's not a big deal to me. Like, I clean my kitchen before I cook dinner. I clean my kitchen after I cook dinner. Okay. Great. But I can tell you this, you are not going to find me out every day cleaning the goat barn. You're not going to find me out every day cleaning the chicken coop. Those things are scheduled into my year. And unless it's just absolutely gross, I'm not worrying about it today. I'm probably not going to worry about it tomorrow. And I'm probably not going to worry about it the next day. And so, again, new homesteaders, I really encourage you to prioritize what's important to you. And if cleaning and a clean environment is important to you, I wish you the best of luck. I really, truly, like, no sarcasm, no judgment, no harsh, no nothing. I legitimately wish you the best of luck. And if you succeed, let me know how you did it, because I have yet to figure it out. Mainly because it's just not going to happen. Not on this homestead.